Okay, so hello everyone. Thank you very much for coming for this, I believe, quite interesting event. We are very sorry for a small delay, but it's exactly the delay which is related with you. I know it's already the end of the day, you want to drink a coffee and eat something and maybe to smoke some cigarette or whatever. So that's why again, sorry for 5 minutes delay. Thanks for coming for this quite interesting and I believe quite innovative presentation. So we will talk about the space industry, we will talk about the tendencies. And our special guests for today is a former student of Transport and Telecommunication Institute, Computer Science and Telecommunication Faculty, Kirill Bystrov. I would like to ask him to join us here. I just wanted to note a few words. Of course, probably Kirill will say in details why exactly he is here, not some other person. But I just wanted to know that, first of all, Kirill is representative from the industry. He is a co-founder and a CBO of the company which is called Time Tech Space, if I am right. I believe it's a startup, no? It's a startup. I have looked the information about the company. The ideas are quite interesting and quite innovative. And as I catch, the second position of Kirill is a representative of Latvian Space Industry Association. So he is the person which actually dreamed about the space from the time he was a student. Yes, and I believe now this dream become true because Kirill is directly involved in this quite interesting and innovative industry. We have invited also the students from the first course, from the Computer Science and Telecommunication faculty, because I think everyone understands that without information and communication technologies, we could only dream about the space, but to make it the real one is only possible with us. Okay, the floor is to Kirill. Please enjoy the lecture. Please be active and ask a lot of questions. I believe that Kirill, as a quite skilled expert in the field, do not afraid of the questions. Okay, thank you very much.
Hello everyone. I will allow myself to drink coffee. I know it's not quite professional, but I had a very small hours of sleep this week. We have a deadline next week. So starting about Latvian space industry, I need to find my slide. Just before I start, before I find my presentation on this computer, I just want to say that I have a pre-planned presentation, but I'm looking forward if you really want to interact, if you really suggest topics, and I'm really happy to go beyond the presentation and discuss what topics which interest particularly you or anybody here. So, let me find my stuff. So, as was said, I'm co-founder of CBO of Time Tech Space. It's a Latvian startup which was established this year. I will tell about it a bit later. The story of this startup says that everyone here can launch a scientific startup, launch a startup which connects to space starting now. I will give all the instruments available and needed to do that. And second thing, I'm a representative of industry. So in my position is to promote space industry, promote careers in space industry. Yeah, the plan of the presentation is the following. So first of all, I'll say about space industry. So major space agency, and then space market. So what is it? What is the space market? Then I'll continue with Latvian space industry, its past experience, current state. Latvian Space Industry Association, what is it, and about our major companies which you, after after this presentation, after TC, you can go and make application if you would interested to work in space industry. And then I will tell about time-tech space in detail, just to show that actually everyone who is like a graduate, about to graduate, they can actually establish their startup, and it's quite easy actually. It's quite possible. Then I will tell. This is the third topic. Is I'm actually heard that most of you are from computer science. So just today I added a new part of it, space big data. So if you're into it, I can go in depth of this topic. It's about IT and space industry in particular. And then I will go opportunities, like what opportunities you can do now, starting from now. And then I also have a flash mob. I really would like to ask help. I will make a video supporting space generation in Latvia. So I would like that you would help me and do some interactions. It's really important for me for advertisement and campaign. Okay, so let's launch. So the first information, the first breakthrough is the following. Latvia already preliminarily agreed to become a member state of the European Space Agency. What opportunities arises for Latvians in this regard? So the whole presentation is about this insight. So to start from a broader picture, there are a lot of players, but major I would like to point out these three groups. So it's NASA, Roscosmos, and European Space Agency. Yeah, historically, NASA and Roscosmos are. Yeah, feel free, just sit down. Not required. NASA and Roscosmos are traditionally military type of organizations, whereas European Space Agency is, by its constitution, is for peaceful purposes. As we're in Europe, I will be promoting European Space Agency. Space Agency here. So this is a promo video of European Space Agency describing what is space and what is ESA is about.
Seen from space, our home planet is just a tiny pale blue dot in the vast black void of the universe. We must remember that we are all space travelers on this fragile spaceship we call Earth. Today, our home is undergoing global changes, and to manage these changes, we must find solutions together. In Europe, we number 500 million people. We are faced with fundamental challenges affecting the prospects for the future. Space is instrumental in managing these challenges, with often the only solutions for Earth coming from space. Through the European Space Agency, 20 European nations have pooled their resources and put Europe at the forefront of space exploration. And we did this with focus and efficiency, devoting several times fewer resources than other spacefaring nations. The key is cooperation. ESA only exists because of the will of its member states to work together. Cooperation is built into our DNA, which is vital for living in a totally connected world. Our curiosity and urge to explore have never stopped. Our satellites have extended our vision, and we've invented robotic probes that have ventured to the far reaches of the solar system. Our launcher family gives Europe guaranteed access to space for any kind of satellite that we need to put into orbit. Together with the European space industry, we have set standards for technological innovation. From weather forecasts, to telephone communications, TV and internet access, and sat-nav systems, we open the doors for the world's most successful space applications. We have done this by putting in place a competitive industry that lives up to the requirements of top-level scientists and laboratories. An industry that is building new space infrastructures, thus leading to new services and applications, and bringing growth for Europe. And all this for the cost of one cinema ticket per European per year. A cinema ticket that triggers our imagination, our understanding of Earth and the universe, and inspires our society. A cinema ticket that allows Europe to face global challenges in security and the environment. A cinema ticket that pays back several times its cost to the European economy by creating jobs and stimulating business. This is a space agency based on cooperation between European states. An agency gathering the best engineers and scientists from all over Europe, working together in a diverse and rich multicultural environment. An agency that cooperates with all space agencies in the world. An agency that works with the European Union to develop the key systems Galileo, EGNOS and GMES for Europe. And an agency that, despite its modest size, is successful in all domains of space. ESA, the Space Agency for Europe.
And starting from 15th of October, hopefully, Latvia will sign a contract with the European Space Agency, becoming its full member, which means that everyone in this auditorium who are citizens in Latvia would allow to work in European Space Agency. And also it means that it's possible to launch different initiatives together with ESA for, based in here, for everyone. Okay, I went out from the presentation. Is there any questions so far? So the next slide would be about space market. So we just watched a presentation, a video about, it's mentioning about telecommunication, navigation, and other subordinated fields. So where traditionally when we say space industry, everyone thinks about satellites, about rockets, but actually there are huge markets. For example, telephone is one of them, and it can be divided into three categories. So first is the production. So it's a full part of the space market. So you produce, for instance, my company, Time-Tech Space, is producing components for rockets. The second is services. So it's telecommunication services, it's mobile services. And subordinate fields, it's all applications. For instance, here in IT, you might use some space data to make an applications for end users. So there are three subfields. So you can see here all those areas. So the blue line is a manufacturing. Is it possible to see there? Not really. Okay, I'll just like say it in words. So blue circle, the small circle, is manufacturing part. So all those guys who produce for rockets, for equipment. The second green circle is services. So we have three main services: satellite navigation, satellite communication, and Earth observation. And actually, IT specialists can work in all three of those areas. And all application which outside green circle is detailed services coming from those areas. For instance, satellite communication, there are like the topest is telemedicine. So you can provide medicine for people in rural areas which are not able to go to doctor. For instance, I know there are cases in India that they're discussing this kind of issues of how to provide medicine to rural areas. And Earth observation, it's a disaster management or like a search for water, and other use. So as you see, space industry is not only about rockets and satellites, it also applications. Wait. So about Latvia, why we actually should be in space? Latvia is really should be into space. It has a huge potential in space, and starting from the total beginning of space industry, space area, Latvians are taking part. For instance, the picture of the guy you see on top of the screen is Friedrich Zandler. He's one of the founders of rocketry, of Soviet rocketry. And Korolev was using his work, Tsiolkovsky was using his work, so this person is quite influenced a lot Soviet space industry and thus world space industry. Overall, from 50 Latvian scientists participating in approximately 100 world level important space program. For instance, for Sputnik 1, they were producing isolation materials. For also they worked on first flights to Vostok, and third project is Luna Hot, and the last one, project of Spacecraft 1, which is actually working currently as well. We still have a company, Latvian Space Chemistry Institute, which produced a layer, chemistry layer for spacecraft. And it still nowadays still exists. So it started in 1989, and in 1988 it still exists. It still produces its work for modern spaceships. So current status. 19 March 2013, Latvia became a PEX member. So it's a preliminary stage. It's a training for a state. So it's not a full member, but it's there are opportunity to listen, to be present on different meetings. But it's not full member, so nobody able to work there. No full. 15 of October, so it's in 2 weeks. ESA awaits official paper from Latvian government, which should be said whether we will be in ESA, whether we will not be in ESA. So it's a crucial moment. In space industry, being representative of association, we really hope and believe it should be that Latvia will be part of European Space Agency. And as you see on the right, 27 contracts already for 3.2 million euro with ESA was agreed within this period from 2013 to January of this year. So it's economically important that Latvia will become part of ESA. To support this initiative, to support Latvian potential, a Latvian Space Industry Association was established, and it was to promote, especially to promote Latvian government in becoming ESA full member. It's one of the main purposes. And it was established by 6 most active Latvian companies which work in space industry. Those are the most active Latvian companies working in space area. Eventech, RD Alpha, Baltic Scientific Instruments, Institute for Environmental Solutions, and Zeno Center. There are more companies. There are quite more companies. I will not go into details, but if you are interested in particular, I encourage you to write me, and I will send you a list of all companies related to space industry. Now I'd like to go into time-tech space. But before I proceed, can you please rise who is interested more in business development? Who is interested in developing a startup here? So So please raise a hand, the ones who after your university would like to work to establish a business in this area. 1 person, 2 person, 3 persons. Okay, so now I would like to say about this time tech space company, and on this example to encourage you to those who raise their hands to follow your path, and those who hasn't also to consider it well, because it's indeed quite easy, to be honest. Even in space industry, you can launch a space startup even now, and it's quite easy. And I'll explain why I'm doing this part. So let me see how to talk forward. So Time Tech Space. This is a company of the new level of accuracy in time tagging in space. So why do you need time tagging actually? So it's if you know time, you know the speed, you actually can find distance, and thus you need it for distance measurement. For instance, from Earth to the Moon, you can measure using this timing equipment. Also, you need it for synchronization and timekeeping. So it's when the satellites, like a constellation of satellites, using lasers, using this timer, you can actually synchronize. And also communications, telephone communications and stuff, using lasers. And in particular applications, so it's in LiDAR. So there is, for instance, radar, but this is using laser altimetry. So it's finding distance to the moon, finding distance to satellite, or to some asteroid. For navigations, landing and docking. For instance, currently we're working with European Space Agency we working in a module of the spacecraft which flying to the moon, and we're working on the landing module. So we're measuring the distance to the ground, to the surface. Why space startups are actually, it's very nice to do that at the moment, because space becomes busy. Now, to send satellites, it's very cheap, because satellites become quite small. It takes it's very efficient to send them. It's very let's say economically possible to do that even for small companies. And as you see, like starting from 17, it was a huge boost in number of spacecraft launched. And here you see, at the beginning I showed space agencies, state companies, major players, and here you see private companies that are sending. Nowadays, because space becomes cheap and available, private companies can actually also participate in space games and space races. So, for example, SpaceX is sending 4,000 satellites within the next 10 years. So overall, there are, and in particular, small satellites as well. And as you see, value of this market is over. Just a minute. Oops. Okay, let me show this one. This one, why didn't you say to me earlier? I'm thinking that you see what I see here. So let me see okay, this is not important. So this is important graph to see that actually in 17, number of it's a huge boost of sending satellites. Nowadays, if you really want to work in the space industry, like in a space startup, or work as a IT specialist, this is a good moment, because it's a huge boost. Like you see, starting from 17, everyone are sending, in particular private. You see, green one is a private launches. So how much it's increased. So this is private companies that are sending satellites. So this is incredibly huge numbers. It's quite a lot. And overall, there are over $300 billion. It's a market of a small satellite at the moment. So this is just a picture. This is, and Time Tech Space is actually a spin-off of our electronical and computer science institute. So the scientists there come out to a very nice solution, which they said, wow, this is really incredible. They're actually able to produce, they can measure time which is smaller than 5 picoseconds. Who can say what's a picosecond in terms of like 10 to minus 2 watts? Yeah, exactly, 10 to minus 12. In terms of, it's basically the time of a light that can travel in 1 centimeter. So it's very incredibly fast. On Earth, this technology become a leader. More than half of the LiDAR station on Earth. LiDAR is the one which sends laser to space and measures the distance, for instance, like to satellites. So if you see on the picture, all dots are it's a LiDAR station, and red ones is the one which uses this equipment. And our advantage, because it's good to know. Our advantage is the technology is very simple. It's highly, I would say, even primitive. The idea behind how they're able to reach this idea. But it's produced unprecedented precision. This picosecond, which I mentioned before, is one of the most quickest at the moment on Earth. But its advantage, because it is very simple, it can be made of very simple materials. Because our competitors use very complicated ideas, to realize them technically requires like a lot of money, a lot of like very unique materials. So the lesson here that even simple ideas, even here in Latvia, we actually can produce something which is competitive in the world. Something which is one of the best would be solutions of this particular segment. So and it was recognized by the European Space Agency, but they signed a contract with us, and we produced a timer which is able to work in space. All technology which need to work in space need to be radiation proofed and temperature proofed, and also some vibration, able to survive after vibration. And it was achieved. So in 2000 we have a ESA moon mission, space drone mission, and we're going to do miniaturization to become very small. So I will not continue with this slide, but main message, I will stop with the startups at the moment, but the main message, who raised the hand, like I do encourage follow the startup. It's really possible to do that. I will, in the end of the presentation, when I will speak about opportunities, I will say about one instrument which is possible to use nowadays to work, to get first money for your startup. And now I will proceed to my main presentation. Yeah, if you don't see something like on the screen, tell me. You can see 5%. Yeah. Okay, now back to space industry. Can you please raise a hand who is interested in big data? One person, two? Big data, yeah. So for instance, who heard about Accenture SAP HANA? Okay. Just one person, SAP HANA, Accenture. Okay, thank you. Accenture has signed a contract with the European Space Agency for space. Okay, I'm just at the moment thinking whether to go in depth or not. Can you raise please hand who are from IT here? Like how many have IT persons? Okay, cool. Then we're going inside. So what is space? What is space big data? Okay, it's a question. What is space big data? What do you think? It's there is no answer yet. Anyone? What is space big data? Huh? Braver. Okay. Space big data is everything, all information which comes from space. Basically, and in particular, pictures of stars, pictures of Earth. Oh, wait a second, just full screen mode. Yeah. So it's you see. So it's pictures from stars, any information on Earth, any communication actually from telecommunication from Earth, from space. And as you see, the number of space data is booming. It's also one of the market or one of the trends of nowadays. Starting from 2016, this area is boosting. And in particular, 2020, they're going to launch a square kilometer array. It's the idea that they established different telescopes around the world that work as one. And there are, as you see, quite a lot of them. Information which would gather through this square kilometer array is larger, which you can gather in 1 week with this square kilometer array, is larger than all information gathered before, like for humanity. So the data is huge. Variety of data is also unpredictable because a lot of players, they have all different kind of standards. Veracity, so uncertainty, is also a huge influencing factor. And velocity, it's the speed of information from space. It's not really high, and this is also a challenge at the moment. So where you can actually participate, there are different levels. You can join as a startup or as an IT specialist. So first part is manufacturers. It's all satellites, all agencies who build and construct these satellites and produce this information. The next level is repositories. How to store the data, where to store the data. Someone have mentioned SAP HANA. This is one of the advanced method of storing and processing data. And as I said, European Space Agency in 2016 has signed a contract with SAP company to store some of the data using this system. So repository. So this is another level where you can take part. Another way is processors. So how you, from this data, from this gathered data, how you make meaning from the pictures, from the information of Earth observations. How you can how you process it. And applications, it's so as IT specialist, how you can provide an application using this space data for end user. There are at the moment 4 main challenges. So value extraction, how to make money from that. Nobody yet, it's just a new market. So if you have an ideas, if you want to take part, there is an opportunity there. So value extraction, technology, so how you store data, how you get data. It's another it's more engineering part. Standardization, because there are lots of players, all has different all has different way and type of information they are sending from space. And openness and privacy, this is a legal question and a policy question, which is also important. Those ones who want to work in space industry, it's really important to tackle the problem from all parts. In particular, if you're doing startup, you need to think not only from technology part, from business part, but you also need to consider legal part as well, policy part as well. And as you see, space data has openness and versus privacy. So what is the border when we privacy of a person is hindered using this space data? This is a question. So there are solutions. I will not go through them, and I will not go through them. The main message of this space big data, it's another opportunity for, again, startup and for IT specialists in this field. It's very interesting. Okay, now I'm approaching to second part of the session, which is opportunities. What opportunities you have today? First one. You can participate in NASA Space Up Challenge, which is going to be 18 on 20th of October 2018. This is, I hope, will be organized through TCE here. This is a challenge where you can come and compose teams, and this is exactly with space big data. NASA will provide on these dates will provide you a data like from its satellites, and will give you a challenge, like Earth challenge, for instance, climate change or coastal waste, like a lot of waste on the coast. Some challenge to solve using this data, and you will have 2 days, 48 hours to solve that within your team. I encourage you to find this website, just Google it, and take part on 18th and 20th of October. And look at the TC, they might also organize it like collectively here, or do it individually at your home. Next one, space generation in Latvia. I will say a bit later about this society. So this society, for those who are interested in space industry, who has a dream to work in space, or who just interested about space, for different events and stuff. The third one, commercialization reactor. Also Google it. It's Latvian high-tech startup acceleration. They have each year, you can apply and get a scholar funding for your startup. You can get, they basically, if you have an idea and team, they actually will teach you everything you need to know as a startup to grow and prosper. And it's international acceleration, so everyone can apply. Next one, ESA internship and work. So it's actually in November, I believe, they make an application. So just search European Space Agency internship, young graduate trainee, to be frank. It's called young graduate trainee. And just search like area of your interest, like space big data or like IT and space. Choose and apply. It's really great. It's very good paid. It's like 2,000 euro a month. It's a very huge, good experience, and it's available for us for Latvians. So just please apply and do that. Starting from October, if Latvia signs a contract, we're actually able to work an ESA as well. So it's another one is International Space University. The ones of you who want to go deeper, who want to work like in a business or like to be an IT specialist in space industry in particular, there is one of the major universities of this kind. There are around 3 or 4 universities of this type. It's based in France, Strasbourg. European Space Agency, it's kind of costly. It costs, I think, 15 to 20,000 a year. but it's been sponsored by European Space Agency. Like majority of this money can be sponsored by European Space Agency because they're really interested in developing this area, and they're happy to sponsor it. So it is possible. If one of those opportunities are interesting for you, approach me, then I will give my contact details. I'm here for you, for those who want to work in space industry, and I will happy to provide like consultations, advices, and so on about any topics related to space. This is my job here. Okay, space generation. So what is space generation? Okay, let's start with the video, I guess. Just like to wake up a little bit. Space generation was established by United Nations. It's okay. Let's see. The video will tell like it, and I will continue. Yeah, space generation is going to be established in Latvia. Everyone urged to join it. Everyone who's interested in space, please do join. It's going to be official start will be 29th of November, but it's possible to apply nowadays. Okay, and very shortly about space generation. Why do we need this? What this space generation can actually give it to you? I will start that with first of all, like about space industry. The main governing body in world space industry is United Nations. United Nations Conference on the Exploration and Peaceful Uses of Outer Space, UN COPUS. This is a main body where all major players on Earth gather and discusses the future of humankind in space exploration. And at one point they decided, like all people who participate in this conference are actually quite old. They are older than according to their above 60, and they decided that and decisions are made on this conference are actually quite lasting, like for 100 years further, for 50 years further. And they understood that actually to make those decisions, it would be fair that young people under 35 should be present on these large conferences. And they decided, and in 1999 they established Space Generation Advisory Council. This is societies which are based in different countries for young people to provide volunteer base for university students and professionals who are interested in space exploration and in space sector in particular. It helps to connect through generations among each other, and also to top performers, top professionals in space industry, and also to provide opportunities for next space leaders from different countries. And it's in each country they have a separate community, and starting from 29, Space Generation Society is going to be launched here in Latvia. Please go to our Facebook page and like us and join us. We're going to have active events and opportunities. So as you see, 6 regions are involved, 100+ countries are involved, more than 10,000 members. This is not necessarily. So we work with United Nations, and from each space generation they chose one person. So from Latvia they will choose one person to go to UN and give their opinion of young generation where humanity should go in space industry. So this is opportunity for Latvia to have a say in UN corpus. There are 4 pillars of Space Generation Advisory Council. So it's events, different kinds of events. So for instance, if any one of you interested in space, big data, or in startup, you can write me, and I will find a speaker for you and organize event for you to educate about this particular topic. If you're interested in organizing stuff, also approach me and we can discuss what kind of events you can organize. There are project groups. There are already world level and worldwide projects which are led by Space Generation Advisory Council members in different states, which are already possible to join. There are scholarships. You can, if you join us, there are a list of scholarships you can take to study, to go to conferences and different stuff. Leadership and skills development. Leadership and skills development, we also do that. So there are different kind of events. So here in details, what kind of done on the world level. I will skip that. If you're really interested, you can go on the website and go through them. This is a major Space Generation Congress, so it's one of the events. This is another one of the world level events. This is regional and national workshops. It's also different events possible already join, like to go to Poland or to Lithuania, to Ukraine, to different states where they already have Space Generation Advisory Council, and they already has events which we can join as well. In the end of the presentation, I will say what kind of events we already organize as a Latvian Space Generation. I will say it in the end. So here you see the second pillar was the project part. Here you see all the projects which are happening all year round. So you feel free, when you become a member, you can choose any project and dip in to connect with people who are working in this project, to get contacts around the globe, like with everyone. It's like a huge opportunity for those who are interested in, for instance, space technology for disaster management, like from IT part. Commercial space, who are interested in startup and business part. Space exploration, who are just interested in space and want to become a cosmonaut or to know about this area more. So why become a member? We also have fun part. We'll do some parties as well. Membership is free, absolutely free. So it's also building your leadership skills and network access to potential employers. We also take care of your career as well. Side notice: if anyone has wishing to work in space industry but don't know, like, in particular career, feel free to contact me. I will do consultation absolutely for free. We can discuss like what kind of path to your dream career in space industry can be. So be part of the Space Generation, become a member, be informed, and be involved in different projects. So this is kind of events. There will be competition and scholarships, yeah. So this is information where you can find more about the Space Generation. Now I'll proceed what we actually do here in Latvia with Space Generation and my final concluding parts. In Latvia, there are going to be first events. on 29th of November. So any one of you who are interested in space industry, welcome. I will be waiting each of you on 29th of November on Space Generation Conference in Rio. I believe it should be in, I will not disclose venue at the moment. To apply for this conference, find us on Facebook, and there will be you'll find an event about Space Generation Conference. And then on the same day there will be space themed party, so really for fun as well. Space themed party, you dress up as your space character, and it should be fun. It should be very fun. We are hoping to involve cosmonauts that will give speeches and guest speakers as well. To find out more, to be inspired about space industry, to find out new tendencies in space, this is starting events of Space Generation. So Facebook, Space Generation Latvia. Okay, and my final part. If you're inspired by space, join us. If you has a dream in different field, please follow your dream. It's very important that each of us go and follow their dream and do it very hardly, because together only together we're actually able to fulfill our humanity goal, to make our solar system our home. That we're not only on Earth on the cradle, but we go beyond and start living on the moon, start living on Mars, and it is possible technologically. We just need to concentrate. It is possible. It's highly possible, I must say, but we need to concentrate together. That each of us follow their dream, do it very hardly, and combined efforts we can do. As I said, Latvian Space Generation is also for development, personal development. We have also launched personal development training, and I'm also inviting. We have an opportunity. It's called SPARTA. It's personal development training. It's going to be in Kyiv. It's going to be on 4th, 5th, and 6th of October. For more info, go to this website. This is my phone number and my Facebook information. So to register for that, you find it. So we have a place. We have gathered a team. We negotiated a corporate discount. So living expenses in Kyiv is gathered, and travel subsidy up to 500 euro. The training will be in Russian language, but the translation will be provided. Because it's in Ukraine, those who doesn't speak Russian will be translation available. But anyway, it's more not like instruction or lecture, but it's more like a space for personal development. It should be really cool. We're going as a team, and as a team to boost ourselves and reach a new level. So join us. Okay, so the training will have 3 days. First day is about mental blocks, which is not giving you to go to boost. So it's mental blocks. Second day is a physical day, and third day is an emotional day. On emotional level, what doesn't allow you to go to boost to reach your level. This particular training in Kyiv is for men. It's designed specifically for men, but we also have a training for women as well. So if you're interested in this area in personal development, write me as well. I'll find you an opportunity to grow, to reach your level. Okay, thank you very much. It was a pleasure to present. Before I finish, I really ask one thing. I would like to make a video to Space Generation. Here, I need really your support. So when I will give some dialogue, some monologue to video camera, I will use my phone. But when I'll start filming you, I will ask a question. Do you like space exploration? And I really hope that you you start screaming and shouting and waving and stuff, saying that you're really interested in that. This is really important because in Latvia we have a huge potential to reach space. We have a huge potential to reach different levels, but somehow we are a bit like our mentality, Latvian mentality, is a bit slow, a bit not less initiative. So I'm really hoping to make such video and inspire a space generation, inspire people to go forward. So so I'm really looking for your support. So let's try. First will be just without video camera, then it will be with the camera. So are you ready? Yeah. Okay. Are you interested in space research? Yeah. Let's do it. Good. Nice. Hello everyone. Space generation in Latvia. I just give a presentation in one of the. Actually, to be honest, TC is one of the pillars of aerospace education in Latvia. And I gave a presentation to a wonderful auditorium, and I have a question to them. Are you interested in space research? Yeah! See you on 29th November on Space Conference. Yes, thank you very much, guys. It was a pleasure.